All right, this is the Merchant Traveler. Uh, like, share, subscribe. I want to share this with you. Oh my God. Hold on. Share my screen. Share system audio. Yep. Now listen to these people sitting up here lying to you.
Converted these Africans, they gave them a choice. Join Amin Ra today or be a Muslim. Many of our people joined Amin Ra right away. Others were converted to Islam. Right. Right, okay. So now there was actually a contract.
So these dudes are making the argument that the Arabs came into Egypt where the Africans were worshiping Amun Ra and gave them the choice: either you worship Amun Ra or you die. Oh my God. First of all, Egypt, even if you would Google, just go and Google it, it was under the control of the Byzantine Empire. It took many of 100 years for Egypt to turn not from paganism, from worshiping Amun Ra, was a dead religion. It took them hundreds of years turning from Christianity, which still millions of Egyptians are Christian to tell today. From Christianity to Islam, this dude is telling you that they worshiped Amun Ra. Complete nonsense. Just nobody worshiped Amun Ra in Egypt. These Hotep people are just lying, making up stuff. Now, nobody ran all the way from Egypt to West Africa. Now, do you know what barrier you you have going from a lush, fertile place like where they have the Nile River to go all the way to the Sahara, which is the largest? Look at this. The Sahara is the largest desert in the world. Right next door to Egypt, you have you have Libya, you have, to the north, you got, you know, they always had a relationship with the Levant. They had a relationship, they had Greece and Turkey, all of those places, which are much more hospitable than the Sahara Desert. All of those places they could flee to, and they ran all the way to Mauritania, Mali, Niger. Europeans couldn't even get into West Africa when they had the Atlantic slave trade. They stayed on the coast because the atmosphere and the diseases was so severe they would die. It's just absurd. You know how far Egypt is from Senegal? Does it make sense they would go all the way to West Africa? And there's no evidence for this migration. There's no evidence for anything. There's no evidence genetically that West Africans are related to anything to do with Egypt. It has religiously, culturally, nothing. Nobody in that whole area of North Africa, besides a Nubian, looks like anything like you. Nobody in Libya is black. Nobody in Sinai is black. Nobody in Kuwait is black. Nobody in Turkey, unless they're slaves. None of these people look like black people. The ancient Egyptians don't look anything like a black person. I lived in Egypt and stuck out like a sore thumb. This is the Egyptian from the First Kingdom. I'm going to share the picture. The artifacts are there. I went in the temples. Nobody looks like you. Look at that. Now, somebody who looks like that left Egypt and went all the way into sub-Saharan Africa. I was in Egypt. There's millions of people in Egypt. Nobody in Egypt looks like me. I stuck out like a sore thumb. These people, this stuff is just ridiculous. And the Hebrew Israelites are making the same claim. Somebody ran from Israel in the Levant, where they till this day, look, Israel is here. You got Syria, you got Saudi Arabia, you got Egypt, all of these places in the area, nobody's black. And they ran all the way here through the largest desert in the earth. Where in the world does that make any sense? Now, let's look at Syrians. What do Syrians look like? Nobody in Syria is black, but all people in diaspora who are African Americans are related to this part of the world where nobody in that whole area is black. Let's look at, and there's still Jews there for the Hebrew Israelites, and how absurd that is. Let's look at Syrian Jews, since y'all like lookism. Hold up. Look, Semitic people again. Nobody Semitic. Nobody in that area is black. Syrian Jews, Jordanian Jews. Look at people from Jordan. Red hair, white skin. Nobody in that area is black. Nobody. Let's look at Iraqi Jews. And the Hebrew Israelites is even more ridiculous. They're claiming Mexicans, they're claiming people from Uruguay are all Jews, along with black people who are two totally different people. They're really claiming the whole quarter of the world is Jews, is the tribe of Israel, from this little bitty place that you could barely see on the map, that's surrounded by a bunch of people who are not black. I mean, when are we going to get out of this silly feel-good nonsense? When are we going to get out of fantasy world and trying to feel good about ourselves? And then not only that, y'all on here actually insulting people who are from those lands, telling them they're invaders. You know how absurd and how stupid that makes Black Americans look? I got posts of people. Then they got one idiot over there telling people to leave their country. Would Egyptians be wrong for doing something about that? Then it's going to be racist. Then you're going to cry victim. Listen to this nonsense. My computer is kind of slow. Listen to this. Come on.
We're from Egypt. No, you're beard. Obama? No, you're white. You're white, so you're not from here. You see the skin color? Big difference. Big difference. That's not Egyptian. That's fake Egyptian. Egyptian from Nubia. No, that's fake Egyptian, man.
The Nubian.
You're Arabic Egyptian. No. Your people came out. Fake Egyptians, man. We're the real Egyptians. What the real tower is? Egyptian. No, you're fake. I know what they are. You're imposter Egyptians. Okay, yeah, that's right, that's right. Imposters.
God don't speak
Yeah,
English.
all right,
This is
right on.
really
Right
sick,
on,
man.
imposters. Welcome. We're still the original man right here. You know what it is. We're from Egypt. No.
Yeah, man. You and other people countries, like the Israelites, they sitting up there telling people they're not Jews. These niggas don't speak a lick. These people don't speak a lick of Hebrew. They don't know nothing about the region, the towns. They can't even probably point a lot of these places on the map. Black Americans have a real problem with geography. They don't know where Nigeria is. They know nothing about. They think Africa is one country, and everything Africa means black. North Africa does not mean black, and that goes for you Moors too. You're not Moroccan. Nobody ran from the Levant. Nobody ran from Egypt to go down in a barren desert of the Sahara, to go through there to go to tropical Africa where they would catch malaria and yellow fever and die. None of these cultures, and let's be frank, let's be real, in sub-Saharan Africa, they didn't have writing, and many of them didn't have horses and didn't have the wheel. So for somebody to have traveled that distance, it's absurd. And I'm sorry, none of these depictions of the Jews, depictions of the Egyptians, none of them are black. You got these idiots claiming that the whole Europe was black because it was called the Dark Ages. Just this asinine feel-good nonsense, man. And what is any of this stuff doing for the black community? It's not giving black
There was a
people no
recurring
love
theme
for each other. Even these hotep people, they're at each other's neck. There's no real brotherhood and working together. It's just you sitting around having intellectual masturbation, trying to feel good about yourself. It's feminine energy, really. Now, you talk all this stuff about all these people being imposters. Why don't you do your DNA? Do your DNA and see how Hebrew you really are. Do your DNA and see how Egyptian you really are. You know where your DNA is going to go to? Some sub-Saharan Africans from Western Central Africa and your white slave master. You need to live in reality. And then what's going to happen with that? You're going to mistrust. You're gonna mistrust DNA because it's from the white man, but you're using the white man's internet. You're gonna mistrust DNA, but when them bastard kids come out, turn out they ain't yours, you're gonna like DNA too. When and then you make the excuse how DNA got a lot of black people off. So what is it? You accept science or not? It's time to grow up, man. You're not an Egyptian worshiping Amun Ra. Ancient Egypt is over and done with. They worshiped phalluses, believed in blood, believed in a bunch of nonsense. They had incest with their parents. It's over and done with. You're looking for a past that was never there. It's time to grow up, man. You're not an Egyptian. You don't look like an Egyptian. Nobody in Egypt looks like you. Sorry. Egyptians weren't black. The Hebrews weren't black. And the Moors weren't black. Be yourself and accept your own. What you're on is self-hate. You never hear any of these dudes y'all listen to talk anything about West Africa, Benin, Songhai, real black history. They say nothing about it. They steadily trying to be an Egyptian. And then when it really gets sick, y'all want to claim being Native American too, because you really have real hard insecurity with being a sub-Saharan African from West and Central Africa. You got a problem with that. The mummies don't look like you. The artifacts don't look like you. These people, they digging them up. They got blonde hair. Queen T don't look like you. None of the hair, those mummies look like yours. Give it up, man. It's time to grow up. Based on geography, it makes no sense for you to be related to Egypt. The Atlantic slave trade took place in West and Central Africa. Nobody went all the way to Egypt. Nobody's going to leave Egypt to go to an arid, barren desert and then run into the tropical part of Africa and get diseased and die. It makes absolutely no logical sense. And it's absurd and ridiculous. And you make Black Americans look stupid. It's like this girl came in there and said people whitewashing history with a damn blonde wig on. Yeah, like really, nobody, and even on this hotep stuff, I don't take you people seriously. Nobody does, because you're not serious people. All you're going to do is rant and feel good. You're not going to really build or really do anything. These idiots are online telling Egyptians they're going to kick them out of Egypt. You're just vile and disrespectful. And you niggas ain't going to do nothing, because a lot of y'all are clowns. When the hotep dudes get some type of power or something, all they do is spend it on money and coochie, like your boy Umar Johnson. He ain't gonna build no damn school. He's not gonna do a goddamn thing but talk. I mean, really, y'all are silly, man. Y'all are really, really silly. You know, and it's time to grow up, man. All of those hotep women with onks and crap on, minute a white man come around, they cheesing. They jump on a fight, first white man that winks at them. But they're pro-Black and all this. What's this nonsense, man? It's time to grow up, man. You're not an Egyptian. You're not a Hebrew Israelite. Okay? You're not. It's time to grow up.